Do you ever feel like you just suck at marketing? Like maybe you're just doing it all wrong? I know that I personally have never felt like I've been a great marketer. I'm not the best out there. I've had mentors. I've even had coaches tell me that I need to be more salesy, that I need to, not give away as much information and like be a little bit more mysterious. But here's the thing. I've somehow been able to get over 800 clients, approaching 900 clients, and I have a business that has generated multiple 7 figures over the last handful of years. I've done it really my way. And today I'm sharing 10 things that have worked for me and why breaking the traditional marketing rules might actually be what you need to do too. The first thing is that overall, fewer platforms are going to equal better focus. So trying to be everywhere is burning people out left and right. What's working for me is having a long form channel like YouTube to demonstrate my authority, to nurture you on our frameworks, our methodologies, get the people aligned with the core values that we have as an alt agency owner and like how we operate, the things that we believe and don't believe. And then I use something like Instagram for short form, which really for me is more about testing and coming up with topics that I might take to long form. So I use Instagram to really kind of vet ideas and share smaller thoughts that might expand into a full video. And lastly, an email list. The email list is both of these platforms are driving to my email so that I have not only depth, but I also have distribution when I focus on these 3 platforms: long, short, and then email. Now, when you simplify your platforms, you create space, and you create space for the second thing, which is talking about what you've done. Not theory, not swipe files. If I haven't personally done it or helped a client go through it, I'm not talking about it. And that's where conviction comes from. And people can feel that conviction. It's one of the best sales skills around, is believing in what you do. And if you're out there just repurposing and saying the same thing as somebody else because you think it's working for them, but it's not something you've done, people will sense and feel that that's not something that you know how to do and it's outside your wheelhouse. But to make your experience land brings us to the third thing, which is that smaller and clearer promises are winning, which means you don't need to promise the moon. In fact, big promises probably make you sound like everyone else and raise that skepticism from potential buyers. I know one of our clients, Nathan, he kind of comes from fractional CFO world, and his offer is really simple. If you work with him for a year, if you're his ideal client, he will help you double your take home in 12 months. It's super simple. It's super specific. Double your take home in 12 months. That paired with exactly who he helps is really believable, especially when all of his content backs it up. Now, once you're clear, you actually have to now go prove it, right? And I think this is where things really start to shake up, which brings us to number 4. Your marketing should demonstrate your expertise. You've probably heard some people say that there's a trust recession happening. Everyone's skeptical. If your content just says you're good, you're probably invisible to your ideal buyer. But if it shows that you're good, game over, right? So how do you use your videos to share lessons that are working for you? Like I'm sharing what's working for me and what's worked for our clients right now. If you continue to watch my videos, whether you're on the 5th video or the 100th video, you probably have started to get a sense that I know what I'm talking about and that I've learned a few things along the way. And because of that, if you've watched enough content, you're starting to build trust in me that I know what I'm talking about and that I might be able to help you, which is why the way you attract buyers really matters today. Which brings us to number 5. Customer generation is, I think, becoming greater than lead generation in many ways. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be generating, leads, but you don't need more unqualified leads. I think we can all agree on that. And what I've found is that when you acquire customers, you are actually acquiring buyers, right? So our book funnel, which we have been testing now for about 3 months at the time of recording this, we've been selling a $7 digital book. It's like 24-page, super tactical on our overarching methodology. We've also mixed in $100 workshops that are live 90 to 2-hour long workshops. And I can tell you so far in doing both the $100 workshops and the $7 book, we've had people that have bought the book and then within a week upgraded to our higher level programs and training. Just like we've had people spend $100 on a workshop, we get to work with them, showcase our expertise by actually helping them in a 2-hour session and have them then upgrade into our higher ticket programs, which are anywhere from, $3K all the way up to $25K a year. So my point here is that as you are getting clear on your offer and who you help, it might be worth trying to acquire customers, not just leads. So the byproduct of all of this is actually that if you're making money from people coming into your world on this book or $100 workshop, you are actually getting people to come in while paying for your marketing expenses. Now, don't try to sell everyone, which brings me to number 6. You're not here to convince anyone. Here's the deal. If you are on sales calls or if your marketing is trying to convince someone to do something different or believe something different, you have a problem. Stop preaching to people who don't even know that they have a problem. You got to speak to those people that are already convinced. We recently had Eric from Hatch.fm talk to our members, and he shared something that's really interesting. They are a done-for-you video production productized service. He noticed that in the early days of selling that he'd get on sales calls and he needed to convince prospects that content marketing, having a video podcast, posting videos and organic content on places like LinkedIn and YouTube was better of a marketing investment than something else that they were doing. Here's the thing. That just turned into trying to get people to believe something that they don't currently believe. And what he said was, instead of trying to convince people that they need to be doing this organic marketing, he just aligned his marketing to focus on people that are already bought in internally inside of their organization, that organic marketing is something that they want to do in order to fill their pipeline. And so now he's not convincing them that they need to do content. Now he's just saying, hey, are we the best fit for you with your content marketing engine? So if you're convincing people, or if you're in the convincing business rather, I think you're already losing. So the question then becomes, how do you build trust with the right people? Which brings me to number 7. Transparency builds trust. I know that a couple years ago, you'd have to have like strategy sessions and you'd opt into these videos, these video sales letters, and you didn't really know anything about what the person did, how the offer worked. And then you had to get on a call to find out more. And it was really like, strategy sessions or growth plans or whatever. They were all just sales calls disguised. Now, what I've been doing is we show our offer. We have sales pages that tell you everything that's included, how it works, and even the price. And oftentimes we're giving that information up front if we're in a conversation. No fake strategy calls, just here's what you get, and here's how it helps. Now, the more that you do this, it brings us to number 8. You're gonna build consistency, constantly demonstrating and showing how, and then giving people the next steps and information where they get to make an educated decision for themselves. And that consistency compounds. So for me, 1 video per week, at least 3 emails per week. It's not sexy by any means, but it actually has worked. There's always someone new who's ready, and showing up regularly makes sure that they actually find you. Now, even if someone's just discovering you, that brings me to number 9. There's this concept that Google talks about, the 7-11-4 rule, and it means that people need to consume and or are consuming up to 7 hours of your content across 11 touch points, across 4 different platforms before they're making a buying decision. What that means is your next buyer might be on their 7th hour with you or their 11th touch point across their 4th platform. I know that every time I make a video, for some person watching this video right now, they're crossing into their 7th hour with me. They've watched me on email. They've seen me on Instagram. They're now seeing me here. They're seeing me on different platforms. This is not the first video that they're watching, right? So you don't always necessarily know where they are, but every piece of content counts towards building up that time with you on your brand with each and every one of these prospects. And the content that lands the hardest, it doesn't just promise results anymore, which brings me to number 10. Identity beats outcomes. And this one's deep, but people don't just want results anymore. I mean, they want results, but to stand apart from your competition, if you want to stand out, you need to actually show them how they are becoming and transforming into a new identity, especially if you're in the online education, consulting and agency space. There's a ton of agencies out there that say they can get you more leads. There's a ton of agencies that can, figure out how to, tell your brand story or whatever the skill is and the service and result is that you deliver inside of your agency. But for example, Alex Hormozy, their core program helped you fill the gym. There's other people that can help you fill a gym. But what happens when you fill a gym and you know how to run a gym the way that Alex teaches? You become a gym lord, right? And people wanted to become a gym lord. For us, there's other people that teach some of the things that we teach, but the way we go about it, our model, people want to become and transform into an alt agency owner, having multiple income streams with a lean team that's super high on profit and allows a really flexible schedule, 3 to 4 day work week, which means monetizing your expertise, not just selling more labor. We have people that come to us that have been in that traditional agency trap, and they're like, I want to have an alt agency. I want to be paid for my expertise. The benefit of working with us isn't now just tied to getting paid for consulting or launching a digital product as part of a revenue stream, but it's becoming this new thing. It's becoming an alt agency. So you got to ask yourself, how are you selling a new identity, not just another transaction? Now, if this helped you rethink your marketing, awesome. But the next thing you're going to trip up on isn't what you say, it's actually how you deliver what you sell. So before you go build a productized service or launch a more leveraged offer, watch this next video. I break down 16 brutal lessons that I learned from helping now over 800 other agencies productize their service and escape the custom service grind. It'll save you time from building the wrong thing or pricing it wrong, delivering it wrong, or marketing it the hard way. Click here to watch that now.